Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me? Can I get a thumbs up?
Yep,
Yep, we
Jeremy, we
got
can
you
hear
loud
you.
and clear.
Thank you. Sorry for the short technical difficulties. My name is Jeremy Gurman. I'm a program analyst with Aaron Gravel's group in NE71, the Office of External Innovations. This is an exciting meeting for us. We're looking forward to getting started on these projects. And we hope that this meeting is informational for everybody. We'll give everybody an opportunity to ask questions at the end of the meeting. We'll try to hit on topics that are probably most important and that come up the most often. Next slide, please. So this is a short outline of our agenda for today. We didn't want to inundate people with too much information, but we wanted to kind of hit the highlights of questions that we get the most often. These are things that are nuts and bolts to these projects and kind of help streamline it. It also helps us to take care of some of the issues that we see that come up more often. We think this is a good opportunity for everybody to ask questions and kind of set expectations early. We'd like to have more communications with PIs and universities, not less. So feel free at any time if you have any questions, not just this meeting, but going forward to reach out to us by phone or email. We'd much rather answer questions as they come up than try to fix problems after they've occurred or after they've been going on for longer periods. Some of the things we'll talk about today is federal stewardship. We'll talk about the ASAP payments. We'll talk about changes to PIs, relocation of projects, no cost extensions, closeouts, and reporting in general. And we think that these topics are things that will be of most interest. Obviously, if there's other things that you'd like to talk about, we'll answer those questions at the end of the meeting as well. Next slide. Before I get too far, I would like to plug, we have a webinar coming up. It's September the 29th. It's for the fiscal year 2027 NOFOs. It'll be to answer any questions and to give more information on those. I know that that seems really fast since right now we're talking about fiscal year 26 projects, but as we're moving forward, we're trying to get a little bit more on schedule. And September 29th would be a good opportunity for anybody that wants to apply for that fiscal year's NOFOs to call in and find out more about changes that have occurred since the fiscal year 26 ones were applied for. As most people probably know, the Office of Nuclear Energy mission is to advance nuclear energy science and technology to meet energy, environmental, and economic needs. We're keyed on keeping existing U.S. nuclear reactors operating. We want to deploy new nuclear reactors, and there's been a heavy push in the new administration to do that. We want to secure and sustain our nuclear fuel cycle, and we want to expand international nuclear energy cooperation. Collectively, all NE-sponsored activities support department's priorities to combat the climate crisis, create clean energy jobs with free and fair chance for everybody to participate. Next slide, please. The Nuclear Energy University program and Nuclear Leadership program have been operating since 2009. Last year, we surpassed more than $1 billion that have been invested in universities and these projects. We hope that today's meeting and these projects continue that success. And as part of that, we realize that our mission is to help make you guys more successful, and we are not here we're not here to be rule keepers as much as doing everything we can do to make sure that we're good federal stewards of the taxpayers' money, and to make sure these programs and these projects are successful and can lead to further development. Next slide, please. DOE, as part of federal stewardship, DOE will exercise normal stewardship of these grants and cooperative agreements. We'll be reviewing performance and financial reports. We'll provide technical assistance or temporary intervention if the circumstances deem that necessary. Will assure compliance with terms and conditions that are outlined in your projects. You should have received that as part of the documentation that you have, but we are always here to answer questions about explanations of how those rules are applied. We'll review overall performance after the project is completed. Hopefully, all of these projects are successful and on time, but sometimes there's times when these projects need to be extended, and we'll to discuss that a little bit in today's presentation. And when necessary, we will conduct site visits to make sure that the federal stewardship of taxpayer money is being implemented properly. Next slide, please. As many of you that have had federal projects before know, these projects are funded through the ASAP payment system. That's the automated standard application for payments. Those are drawdown funds. So those funds will be made available to you through the system, and those can be drawn down as needed. There are certain federal regulations that go along with this, and that information should be provided in your project terms and conditions if you're not already aware of that. There are some regulations under 2 CFR 200 about how drawdowns have to be done if they're put in interest-bearing accounts. I won't go into those specifically right now, but if going forward, if there's questions, we certainly can go over that for new PIs or new universities that are working on these projects. Next slide, please. One of the key things that we're going to talk in depth about today will be reporting. Reporting is something that's very important and it's not optional. We will stay on top of projects that have not reported on time. We want to do everything we can to make sure the PIs know exactly what reports are necessary. And we can go into discussion of why those are necessary, but they are not optional. Incomplete projects will be considered incomplete without all the reports that are required. That would eventually mean that these projects could not be closed out and ultimately could result in universities not being or PIs not being able to apply for further grant funding. We don't want to see this happen. We want to do everything we can, including notifying and letting you know of dates of reports and clarifying any questions you might have about incomplete documentation or how certain things need to be submitted. Some of those, and they're included in your federal assistance reporting checklist in your grant package, would be quarterly or semi-annual progress reports, the financial report, SF 425, the quad chart, a final report when the project is done. But there's other things that will be required and further changes to some of these programs. Data management is something that has been required for a number of years now. We're going to get more involved in making sure that requirement is being met, as well as all other terms and conditions that are implied. So there will be some changes in data management, and we'll have a part of today's presentation discussing on that. And then obviously, if there's any changes to annual indirect cost proposals or annual audits, those documents may be required at some time if those things occur. Again, none of these reports should be a surprise. We're going to do everything we can, including it being reported on the reporting checklist of how to do that. There's many people on this team that work very hard to make sure that all the documents that you have are readily available and to answer any questions that you have. Again, we would prefer more communication, not less communication. So if there are questions, concerns, maybe you just want to double check to make sure that you understand right, please reach out to us. We'll give you email addresses, and the people that are on today's presentation would be happy to go over any questions that you have, both today and going forward. Next slide, please. So this is the general reporting instructions. Dave Bates will talk with you shortly. He will be talking about reporting and how to get those reports into our PIC system. Our PIC system is vital to us tracking hundreds and hundreds of projects worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and making sure that we're on top of that makes sure that we don't have to bug you more than we need to as far as getting reports in, and lets you guys understand a little bit better about when things are due. Listed here are a few key places that you can submit information or ask questions. That includes 3 email addresses. Your federal managers, your technical project officers that are listed on your projects are people that you should reach out to and talk to on a regular basis when you have questions or update or answer their questions if those come up. Again, my name's Jeremy Gurman, and you can reach out to me. You can also reach out to the other people that are going to be presenting today on a number of different topics. Right now, before we move on to Dave, I'm going to introduce Joanna. She leads the integration office for us, and she's going to talk a little bit about how her office is going to interact with you. I really appreciate everybody's time, and I will be back to answer questions at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy, for that. Again, my name is Joanna Taylor. I am the acting manager here in the integration office, and I just want to congratulate you on your awards. It's very exciting. It's one of the funnest things about our office is the day that those get announced. We get pretty excited. I want to welcome you all to this PI training. As Jeremy said, it's very important, and we are here to help you succeed. So that's our goal, and we're looking forward to working with all of you. We have an excellent team here that can assist you with any of your questions. So, like Jeremy was saying, if you have any questions, reach out. The easiest way to reach out, Crystal is our lead in our office. So you can always reach out to Crystal. If for some reason you're unable to, or you just couldn't remember Crystal's email, you can always send things to NEUP@inl.gov. And then we will direct your email to the correct person to get those questions answered. Or you can give me a call on my number too. But the NEUP@inl.gov is really a great resource. We can move those right over to Crystal if you don't have her email at hand. So feel free to do that anytime. And again, just thank you. We are very excited. Our main goal is to assist you. So any questions, please reach out. And I will turn this over to Dave Bates to get started. And thanks again and congratulations.
Thank you. Apologies, my camera is not working very well today, so you'll just have my disembodied voice. But my name is Dave Bates. I'm a contractor who maintains DOE's Project Information Collection System, or PICS, as Jeremy mentioned. And I'm also, as such, I'm responsible for creating and distributing the RPPR Excel spreadsheet templates through which you will provide your reporting to DOE. And then that information that you provide to the RPPR gets uploaded to the PIC system. Again, as Jeremy mentioned, it's an important system for the Office of Nuclear Energy for tracking these projects. So today's goal is not to have a deep dive into the RPPR template itself. I will note that when we send the RPPRs out, along with that are detailed instructions for completing each tab of the Excel spreadsheet, and there are 8 tabs on the RPPR. So rather today, we just want to highlight some areas where, based on our past experience, where PIs may overlook or not pay as much attention to as as they need to get the information that DOE needs. So we'll start with the accomplishments tab. Section B is is what was accomplished during the last reporting period. This is, as the slide reads here, this is the meat of your narrative that you're providing to DOE. So please do not take this too lightly. We want a pretty comprehensive discussion or narrative. And I know this is a tough balancing act between comprehensive and concise. So just do your best to create a clear narrative for DOE to review in the PIC system. And I would also note this is narrative only. The spreadsheet doesn't allow for figures or photographs. But if you do have supporting documents like that, please feel free to attach them, separate documents to the RPPR submission, and we can get those into the PIC system for the DOE folks to review. Section E of the accomplishments tab is basically your forecast for the next reporting period. Again, it's one that sometimes gets overlooked. We definitely need this section completed. That goes directly into the PIC system. So just wanted to highlight that. Moving on to the products tab, this is where you'll list your publications, conference papers, presentations, in addition, any inventions, patents, licenses, things like that. There will be a drop-down list for the two groups of products, the publication, conference, or presentation, and then the invention or patent or license. Pretty straightforward. Just again, it often gets overlooked. And I will note that this will be a running list for the duration of your project. Each RPPR will include your prior submissions for these products. So this list will just grow through time, and at the end, your final RPPR will include, or it'll be easier for you to, it'll be ready for you to turn in your final RPPR with all these products. The next tab we'd like to discuss are the changes and problems tab. This, again, is often overlooked. And obviously it's important. This is the section that's in the PICS submittal for each of these projects. So it's important that you note any issues or concerns that you have going on in your project and what you're doing to mitigate them. That way the DOE team that's managing your project is apprised of any problems and perhaps can reach out to offer any assistance. Next slide, please. This is just some snippets of the RPPR. To the left is the accomplishments tab, and the upper right is the cover page. Again, we're looking for completeness throughout the entire document. So the cover page is important. It also includes, it's tailored to your specific project, and so the project name and the PI. It's also tailored to the reporting period, and it also lists your federal manager and technical project officer in the distribution list. So that's an important. It's all important, but that's important information for you to know. And the lower right is a snippet of the cost and schedule status tab, which I think is we'll be discussing in the next two slides. So next slide, please. So the cost and schedule status tab consists of your milestones that you submitted in your work package plan at the beginning of your project, or you will submit soon if you're a new PI. So as its name implies, we need you to provide status on the milestones in your project. So if a milestone, if its completion date is beyond the date of the current reporting period, the default status, and it's column F on the spreadsheet, you'll see the default status is on schedule, and it'll show green in that status. And if that is indeed the case, just verify that that milestone's on schedule. There's nothing more for you to do for those milestones that are on schedule. However, if you have a milestone that has a due date that has passed or is occurring during the current reporting period, the status will read update needed. And that's there to prompt you that you need to provide a status for that milestone. And in order to do so, you simply click on that cell that says update needed, and there's a drop-down list with the variety or the variety of statuses for the milestone that you must select. So hopefully most of the time we're going to be selecting complete as the status, and when you do that, the spreadsheets will highlight the actual finish date cell in yellow. And so all you'll need to do is provide the actual finish date and optionally a narrative. If the milestone is completed late, so in other words, the completion date is beyond the original plan date, you would select completed late and also provide the actual finish date. In both of those cases, when you complete a milestone, a milestone completion report is required, and I can't stress that enough. That's often overlooked. A PI will just mark a milestone as complete and think everything's done, but in the PIC system, it requires a milestone completion report that documents the successful completion of the milestone, and that does get reviewed by your DOE management team. So it's very important that you submit those milestone completion reports, and it's very helpful if you can include the milestone number and title in the document title itself. That way we can attribute the report to the correct milestone and PICs and for your DOE team to review. Other statuses would be if your milestone is late. In other words, the completion date is past in your reporting period, and you just haven't completed the milestone. So when you select that as the status of being late, you'll notice the 3 column cells will highlight yellow to the right, and those 3 need your input. So the first would be the percent complete. That's your estimated percent complete for the milestone. The next is your revised finish date. And lastly, a narrative explaining the delay. And it could be anything from reactor access, delay in hiring students, that sort of thing. For whatever reason, just a nice, concise narrative about the status of the milestone. And the other 2 statuses are pretty much the same actions you'd need to take, whether it's expected late or ahead of schedule. The spreadsheet will prompt you to provide a percent complete, a revised finish date, and a narrative. Next slide, please. So once all your milestone statuses are complete, the spreadsheet's set up to calculate your value earned or earned value against the actual cost that you've incurred so far in your project. And the cost variance that's calculated from that, if it exceeds thresholds of plus or minus $25,000 and plus or minus 10%, the field in cell A95 will highlight yellow, and indicating that the cost variance has exceeded DOE's thresholds for requiring a cost variance narrative. And just a short explanation why you're not spending according to your original schedule. And I think that's about it. Next slide, please. Yeah, that's it for the RPPR template. Lastly, just a brief discussion of the quad chart. These get sent out with every RPPR, just a blank quad chart. There are two slides. It's a PowerPoint file. The first slide contains the instructions, and the second is the quad chart itself. Not much to say here. The instructions are pretty clear. However, if there's some information in the lower left quadrant here that you may not have, like your TPOC, you should know who your federal manager is. The work package number, that's the PICS work package number, that is included on your RPPR template. But if there's any questions, just feel free to reach out to us and we'll try to get those answered. But with the, unlike the RPPRs, we don't pre-populate the quad charts. So generally what PIs do is they'll do their first quad charts and then they'll just keep updating it by reporting period.
Hey,
I think
Dave.
that's, yeah.
Before you go to the next slide, I'm sorry to interrupt. We have a question in the chat. It says, is there a template for the milestone completion report, or is this just an email to our reporting contacts?
Oh, yeah, thank you, Jeremy. That's a very good question. There are no templates for the milestone completion reports. That's going to be up to you as the PI, using your professional, your best judgment as a researcher on what would demonstrate the successful completion of the project, or of the milestone, excuse me. And so there are no, it can be as simple as like a tech memo if it's a really simple low level milestone, but some of them are more technical and they end up being, it could be a 5 to 20 page technical report, just depending on the complexity and scope of the milestone itself.
We have two follow-up questions. The first is one that we've talked about internally here, but we're being asked, when is the first RPPR report due for project that started August 1st?
Okay, so your reporting period is a 6-month reporting period. So the first period of performance goes from August 1st through January 31st. And after the end of the reporting period, you have 30 calendar days to submit your RPPR and quad chart and any milestone reports. So in this case, it's I think March 2nd or something like that, in that area.
And then the last question we have in the chat is, how do the expenditure numbers in the pre-populated RPPR get generated?
Okay, so that's another good question. For the university costs, we receive the costs that have been incurred through the DOE's tracking system. And if you have a national laboratory that you're collaborating with, or multiple national laboratories, we also include their costs, and those all get summed up into the actual cost cell on the cost and schedule status.
One other question, do you have a timeline for the submission of the work package plan for the new projects?
I don't. I think I don't know if Andrew Ford's on today. We are currently waiting for the final award list. I know there's been a delay with these FY25 awards, so I don't know if Andrew's on. He might have some insight there. But I'm in a perfect world, if things went according to plan, these would have been sent out probably August 3rd, but we've been delayed, unfortunately. But once those go out, I will say that you'll have 30 days to get those submitted and back to us so we can get PICS populated.
Thanks, Dave. If you want to continue, if we can answer any additional questions as we go along, but I think you're good to go now.
Okay, I think I'm done actually. So I think I'll turn things over to Tara.
Am I still muted? Can you hear me?
Oh, you're good now.
Got me now? Yeah, I was like, okay, I was on mute. So hello, I am Tara Hawk and I handle the awards modifications, the reporting. We'll go over what the modifications are here in these slides. They're pretty straightforward, so I'm not going to read bullet by bullet. Yep, go ahead and ask your questions as they arise and we'll get those taken care of. So when you have a PI modification change, and just another side note, all of these as listed in the FOA, you can go ahead and submit to the NEUP at inl.gov. You can also submit them. It is not in the FOA or the instructions, but you can also submit them to the PSD reports and or to myself. And my email will be in the contacts later. So yeah, moving forward, if you have a PI change, somebody's retiring, your PI is moving institutions, then you just want to put the request on university letterhead and then provide the new proposed PI's information, CV in that email. And then we will get that routed for approval and get that modification made. Also in the slide, we're hitting on the budgets. So if your budget modification, something didn't get spent in a certain line or different equipment because the other equipment is no longer available, whatever that reason may be, if it's less than 10% of the award, it does not need a budget modification. So you just go ahead and send us an email, notify so we can route it, make sure you're in contact with your TPOs and your federal managers and let them know what's going on. The subawardee is another budget mod. So if you're getting someone else involved as a subawardee, if you have not submitted foreign travel originally on your application, and there is no modification on foreign travel, whatever foreign travel is submitted or is not submitted on your application is the only foreign travel that is allowed. So you can't change it, you can't add it later. So it's important to get that up front. Next slide. So yeah, we just went over the PI changes. Co-PI does not require a modification, but again, the notifications you can send it to PSD reports, make sure you're in contact with your TPOs, your TPOCs, your federal managers, that they know what's going on. And then, yes, the research and programmatic effort to another institution used to not allow that, but that is now allowed. We do award transfers. It is quite an extensive list of things that isn't required, and it takes a little time. So just be aware of that in advance. So if that is going to be something that is needed, just reach out to myself, to PSD reports, NEUP@inl.gov, and we can get that rolling. Okay, next slide. Kind of think we went over that, but you guys can come back to these slides and it's just some more examples of what a PI change is. Next slide. Again, the PI changes moving out. Also, correct. I'm glad that's on the slide. I forgot. Also, your contract specialist, your contracting officer. Those are important. Always include them on all communications with anything going on with the award, any changes, any updates, any important information. So, and here it is the resume, CV, a justification. This does not mention the request on university letterhead, but we do need that. So if that can be included, that would be appreciated. Next slide. Again, with the co-PIs, it doesn't need approval. It doesn't require a modification, but yes, please inform everyone of the changes so that everyone is aware of what's going on with the award. And the subawardees, same information, just keep us in the loop. Slide, please. The budget modification. So if you are needing other equipment because the original equipment is no longer available or it has become obsolete, no longer what you're looking for, we need a quote, we need the justification, and then go ahead and send that if it's over the 10% to all of those email addresses we've gone over. This details a little more information about what is needed. So you can refer to the slides, and again, reach out to me or PSD reports or NEUP at inl.gov, and we will get you lined out on what we need for your budget modification request. Next slide, please. Just more of the same. Reason for the budget changes, any document that impacts the deliverable or milestone. If you are going to need more time, and we're going to roll into that here because now you're waiting on equipment, things have happened and slowed things down. This is a good time to ask for a no cost extension request if it's within the last year of the award, and that's coming up here, but go ahead now, next slide. Again, with the subaward changes, we'll need another thing that's needed, sorry, I'd left that out, is the budget documentation. We will need the original budget document that was submitted with the application, and the SF 424 information submitted with your new budget information, any changes with line items, where you're moving it, all that information is needed so we can track and follow it appropriately, as well as the deliverables and milestones. Next slide. So any unapproved equipment purchases, again, we just need to see them for any of the reasons, the justification, what the changes are, why they're needed, the quotes, the budget documentation. Next slide. So now here's the no cost extension. So anytime, whether or not it is because the PI left and there's been a lag, whether it's because, yes, you need the budget modification and you're waiting on the things for that, whatever the reason may be, we need this form here submitted to myself and Crystal Sosala. You can find that form on neup@inl.gov. And you can also request it from myself or Crystal, or send a note to PSD reports and we'll get that to you. No additional funds. It's a no cost extension. It can't change scope. It has to stay in line with all of the things, all that was approved originally on the application. But we will need this form submitted within 90 days of the end date of the award, and all the information filled out as completely and detailed as you can. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out. Next slide. Again, fill out the form, submit it to myself, Crystal, and go ahead and send it to PSD reports as well. I'll check it out, make sure all of the information is there. If there are any questions, we'll reach out to you, and then we'll get that submitted for review and approval. Now, another note on the no cost extensions is, at the current time, there are some new processes in place, new approvals that are required. So it does take some time. So do make sure you're getting these submitted within the final year of your award, as soon as you feel like your award might need more time. Please don't wait into the last minute with the amount of time it's been taking to get these requests submitted and approved. We really need them as soon as you feel like. I mean, if you submit it later and don't need it, that's no problem. You can go ahead and finish the project out. Let us know you've completed it. We'll start you with the closeout documents and get that rolling. There's no penalties for completing the award early, and we can get it moving and get the award closed as needed. So just please submit them as soon as possible, and then we can get all of that taken care of. And I believe that's the end of mine. We have any other questions? Or again, just reach out to us as contacts, and thanks for joining us today.
Our next presenter is Rachel Thomas. Rachel, are you with us? So I I did speak to her earlier. She thought she may have a conflict, but wasn't certain. Sounds like she's not here, so I will be presenting the final closeout slides. My name is Crystal Sasala. Joanna Taylor mentioned me before. I'm with the NEUP office, and I am the lead on awards management. So you will be hearing from me from time to time regarding reporting. So our next slide is award administration. I'm just going to let you go through and read that on your own. Just a little bit of information about the administration, and then we'll continue with the project closeout. So the most important takeaway from this is the 90-day standard. So, excuse me. After an award after an award completes, generally on the 30th of September, you have 30 or 90 days to finalize everything. So your final report, okay, I just got a message to go back to the previous slide, so I'll sit on that for just a minute. But you have 90 days after completion to do your final closeout paperwork. And that includes the final report. This is extremely important that we have that. We cannot close out an award until all of those documents have been sent to the appropriate email addresses, which you'll see in just a moment. So yeah, and just as an example, if your project ends, I gave the date of September 30th. If it ends on December 31st, your closeout deadline is March 31st. And Rachel just put in the notes that please do not wait until day 85 to start, because this final paperwork takes a little bit of time, and it's closely monitored by the operations office. And for your awareness, delays will put your active research payments on hold. So any other awards you have that it could jeopardize the payments, and will flag your profile during future proposal evaluations. So this is very important that we get these documents. So the big four listed there, the final scientific technical report. And it says this needs to be submitted to OSTI, but we also need this submitted to the other email addresses that you send your semi-annual reports to. So it needs to go to everyone. There's like 3. The final federal financial report, the final patent and invention certification, and the final tangible personal property report. So the property report, again, I'll let you just look over this slide. Even if you did not have equipment purchases, you must file this report. Very important to have this. And it gives you a little information on how to comply, completing the SF 428 and attach the SF 428B, so that final closeout report. If you have unused supplies, residual product supplies, and if it exceeds 5,000 in total of the actual amount at closeout, you must report this and compensate the government. So another important aspect. The patent certification. So Again, I'll just let you go ahead and read that. If you do not have equipment that you wish to keep at your university, you must attach the SF 428C form to request that the title officially vest with your institution. Keep an eye on your supplies. Again, if you have more than 5,000 unused, things like chemical, glassware, or materials. When the award comes to a close, federal law requires SBU to compensate the government for that leftover inventory. So for the final report, there's no required format, just like any of the milestone deliverables that you submit. There's nothing formal. We trust you to use your best judgment. Oftentimes that formal report or that final report is something that the PI chooses to submit for publication. But again, it's entirely up to you how you do that. There's just some things that have to be on that final report. That comprehensive summary of all the work results and conclusions, very important there, and completely describe the efforts applied to and the results obtained during the award. And so if the objective is not accomplished, we need that to be fully documented and explained in the report. So some of the elements listed there, that brief abstract, a full statement of the objective, a list of publications, along with the final report, we need a final quad chart and a final RPPR.
Crystal,
And again,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but it seems we have a question.
oh,
Are you talking about me, Jeremy, or
Sarah,
are you
go
talking
ahead.
about a chat? No, you can go ahead and finish. I just have something I will go ahead and add about the final reports with you. But I'll just go ahead and continue. I'll wait till you're all done.
So once again, these are due within 90 days at the end date of the award. So very important that we get that in a timely manner. And it can take the place. We have a quarterly report, but I think probably most of you will be semi-annual reporting. So it can take the place of your semi-annual, the last semi-annual report, but it has to have all of the information that semi-annual report would have. And again, the final report needs to be sent to OSTI in addition to others, but I have on here that you'll send your semi-annual reports to these 3 email addresses that we've had within the presentation. The INR reports.inl.gov, that comes to the NEUP office. I get those reports. And in order for us to close out your award in PICS-NE, I have to have that report, because I am the one that you send your reports to these email addresses. I'm the one that uploads it into PICS, and I'm the one that will upload that final report so Dave can close out in PICS. So separate from DOE closeout, we close it out in PICS also. So just a little bit of additional information there. And just again, for your information, the NEUP website has a lot of really good information on. So if you have a question and you just want to take a look, the awardee resources page of our website has good information on it. That may be a first stop for you. If not, again, we'll give contact information for relevant people for the reporting. And so that's it for me. Go ahead, Tara.
So just a couple key points here to point out with all reporting, and then especially with the final reports. It is very important to follow all of the guidelines on the Federal Assistance Reporting Requirements Checklist, DOE 4600.2 form. That can be found in the attachments of your awards document. That tells you who you submit it to, where you submit it to. So some of these reports have extra, as in the final report goes to OSTE. Some other ones, as Crystal mentioned, go to another location. And then there is a list of individuals on the second page that all of those need to be included. Key ones are the INR reports, the AST Allegheny email, and the PSD reports. The PSD reports is how we track and log your reporting. If it doesn't get submitted to the PSD reports, it will not get logged. It won't get tracked, and you'll get a delinquent notice. You'll get bounced. So it's really important that you check the DOE 4600.2 form and look for all of the instructions and send them to all of the individuals. The key ones being the INR reports, the PSD reports, and the NEUP awards reports. But your TPO and your federal manager also need to make sure, I mean, they're monitoring the award. So really important that you open that. That is a key document for all reporting. If you follow all that, you can't go wrong. When it comes to the OSTE report, that does have to be submitted to all of the lists on the DOE form, but it does have to go to OSTE. And be advised and aware that OSTE takes a long time to review your final reports. We're talking a long time. So a year plus. They've had some lags at OSTE. They've had some personnel changes, and it takes a long time. And until that's been submitted and reviewed in OSTE, it does not get logged received. So just know that if you've submitted it to OSTE and you're getting those delinquent report notice, you can ignore those. You can just go ahead and pretend they don't exist. And if you want to reach out and say, hey, I submitted it, I'll just let you know it's still under review. And as soon as it gets to review, we're able to get that logged. In the meantime, please just disregard it and ignore it. And that's it for me. So thanks.
So yes, and I have put on the screen the slide with those important email addresses. You'll see it again on the paperwork that you receive. One of the things I'd like to just point out, it is very helpful that in the subject line you put this information, the DENE number, so we don't have to search for where to put your report. So please include that information. And
yes, I second that. It's very important. Sometimes we're searching to see if you've submitted it. You say, hey, I've submitted it, but you use the project ID or you use an internal number. It's complicated to find it. So it's important that that be in the subject line. And that is also listed on the DOE 4600.2 form, that is required, that is in the subject line. So yeah, second that with Crystal. Thank you.
So our next presenter, I'm sorry, Jeremy, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to introduce Bradley. So we're going to give you some possibly new information. Some of you may have heard of the Nuclear Research Data System Program. We piloted a couple of years ago. Bradley Stanton is one of our NERDS people, so he's going to go ahead and present the next couple of slides. Brad, it's all yours.
Yeah, thank you
Brad,
so much.
before you get started, I apologize. There's a question that it'd be best if we go ahead and answer now. Crystal, in the meeting chat, it says, do I need approval if I want to use a budget originally for a PhD student to a postdoc or vice versa? Crystal, do you know if that needs pre-approval or not?
That I do not know. Tara,
Is Andrew
Andrew
in here? I believe that is fine and we do not need approval, but Andrew, can you confirm?
Yeah, that does not need DOE approval if there's just a change like that.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm sorry to interrupt, Brad. You can continue. Thank you.
No worries at all. Thanks so much. Yeah, as stated before, my name is Bradley Stanton. I work with the NEUP team, and I'm here to talk a little bit about NRDS. So NRDS is a science data gateway that's sponsored by INL's nuclear science user facilities and hosted on INL's high performance computing data center. Now, some of you, especially if you're familiar with NSUF, might already know about NRDS. But in short, NRDS is now available for NUP R&D projects, including CINR, CINR2, IRP, along with DECP. It should be noted that NRDS is not required, but it's a platform that's available for PIs to fulfill the data management and sharing plan requirement that's found within the NOFO. So it's a long-term data storage solution that has additional resources, and it's all for free. We've got QR code here. They'll take you to our website with a bunch more information. But to start, if you want to move up a slide. Perfect. Yeah, to start, NRDS has two different sides. First is the NRDS portal. It's a secure, password protected site that acts as a collaborative space for you and your team. Anybody who's a team member that's listed on the proposal can have access. It's possible for us to add new people if that's needed. And the team can then use that free storage as a working space. And it does more than just hold data, but we'll get to that shortly. That second side is the public NRDS side. Once the PI has approved the data and that set embargo date passes, the data then moves to the site and becomes public. And that's what fulfills that data management and sharing plan requirement by making that data public and searchable. Next slide, please. Perfect. The NRDS portal is where you as a PI would interact with the most. And because of that, it's highly secure, requiring an NUP or an NSUF account along with an authenticator app. And PIs maintain full control of this workspace. They approve or reject all data before anything is published to the public site. And by default, that embargo date is set 1 year after the final report is received. But this is where the portal goes beyond just public storage. Beyond just simple storage. This workspace includes a fully virtual desktop. So your team isn't just uploading files, they can work directly from within the system. And it features integrated compute resources such as artificial intelligence enabled hardware and access to graphic processing units. Along with that, all data entered is assigned a digital object identifier. We've gotten a lot of great feedback about these different features, and so we're excited to get them in front of more PIs. And this portal has its own website link that you'll be able to have direct access to it. Next slide, please. So the public site is where the data management plan requirement actually gets fulfilled, and it's built to be really user-friendly. A user can search and view data without downloading it first. And it can be found all without needing an account. On top of that, a user can be able to utilize some AI tools on that data as well. And of course, nothing reaches a public site until the PI approves the data and that set embargo date passes. So you stay in full control of your data all the way through. And you can see that website link at the top right if you want to be able to look around the public site as well. Next slide. And again, we've gotten a lot of great feedback about NRDS, but this is a quote we pulled from a graduate research intern. They state that the NRDS website is an excellent resource for finding data from past experiments, and it's also been used as an additional data organization system and instrument backup storage. So a lot of PIs are using NRDS in different ways, and again, we're excited to get in front of more PIs. Next slide. So how do you get started? Again, this applies to NUP R&D projects, CINR, CINR2, IRP, and DECP from fiscal year 2017 on up. To start, you have to set up an MFA with an authenticator app in the NUP system. Email authentication won't work for NRDS. After that's set up, you can log into the NRDS research portal, where you'll be able to find your project folder. And from there, your workspace is all ready to go. You can upload files, manage data, run your workflow, whatever you need. And again, we have that same QR code where you can be able to access some of the information that we shared in this presentation. And if you have any specific questions, Kathy and I will be on here at the end when we open it up for a Q&A. But we also have that email link there. If you have something very specific you want to reach out to us about, we'd love to chat with you more. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brad. So that concludes our information presentation. On the screen now is some contact information. So Andrew Ford, Federal Contracting Officer, can be reached at that email and phone number. Tara Hawk, who presented, if you have questions on the DOE Idaho side, she's a great resource. Again, I'm with the NEUP office and do the awards management. So if you have questions about any of the reporting, you can contact me. Dave Bates is our Pix and Eve with Allegheny, and he is a wealth of information. So his contact information is there. And at this point, we'll just leave this slide up. So if you want to take note of that, but at this point, we'd like to open up to questions. So I think you all have mic access. Feel free to type or speak questions that you may have. So we did get a question about new.
Sorry, I was answering it, but I was on mute. Sorry. No, there's no penalties for that. The only thing you need to be aware of is that a PI may only have 3 active awards at a time. So if you as a PI already have 3 active awards, or you have 2 active awards, and requesting that no cost extension will carry that an extra year, and you want to put in a proposal the following year, it's only 3, sorry, it will carry. So it will mean you can't put in a new proposal. But if you only need a 3-month extension and you can be done by the end of that fiscal year, calendar year, then you can still do that, close out the award, and submit your proposal the following year. But no, there's no flags on that.
Okay, thanks, Tara. Oh, so will no cost extension affect the phase 2 application?
No, the no cost extensions have no derogatory effect. If you need more time to finish your project, we'd like a finished project. We want you to finish your project, and we'll work with you for sure.
Okay, so
Tara, I'd just like to point out to read the NOFO, because there's different, like if you have an IRP project versus that can have some dramatic effects. So just be sure to read the NOFO.
Perfect. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, so that was Nick Case. He is also with the NEUP office, and he leads out a few of our programs. So many of you might be familiar with him. There was a question previously that I wanted to address. Numerous presenters have issued their congratulations to the participants in this meeting, but it is not clear what we are being congratulated about. Have there been award announcements? Yes. Joanna, I'm going to let you, if you're still on, I'm going to let you take this one. Or Jeremy, either one of you two?
Yeah, I can answer it. They're in award negotiation right now. So there is some award negotiation going on.
Yeah, and to further expand on that, we have some current PIs that are on here, and we are also congratulating them on ongoing effort that they're on. We invite anybody that's new this year to participate next year. All of these projects at some point needed to be competed, and their full completion we're working towards. So that's part of what we're congratulating people on. So those projects that are in award negotiations now should be finished up in the near future, but that's where those are, like Joanna said. Thank you.
Just let me clarify that a little bit. the awards that have been made are from 2025. 2026 awards are not been made yet. So the 2025s that were announced in June and so forth, those are being negotiated. Those are the things that are where new awards will be set up.
Thank you so much, John. Thanks for clarifying that. Yes, we have multiple years going on at the same time. So thank you, John. That helps clarify that. It looks like we had prior projects that used the same reporting protocols. Is there anything new in the recent reporting requirements? Tara or Dave, do you want to answer that question?
The only significant new thing is the reporting dates. We used to do quarterlies, and now most awards have moved to semi-annual. So again, just refer to your reporting requirements to know what schedule you're on. But most awards are on the semi-annual. There are select few, some awards are different. Infrastructure awards, for instance, are only annual, and they're only yearly. So unless you get a no cost extension, it's an annual and a final. But just refer to your reporting requirements, and that'll give you that. That's the only significant change to be aware of.
Well, and I would also add that we're giving PIs the opportunity to participate in the NRDS program. So that is something that is new this year. But it's not required, it's not mandatory, it's an optional. But they do have the ability to participate.
And this is Dave Bates. I did a change that occurred after the FY22 awards. FY22 and prior required a final RPPR along with the final scientific technical report. Newer awards from FY23 moving forward do not require that final RPPR. And so when you see on your, I think I mentioned the project outcomes tab, that needs to be completed in your last, in other words, final RPPR, but that would fall in line with your normal reporting schedule. So I just wanted to make that clear. It's a change that happened a few years ago, but some of you may have had projects prior. Just letting you know that's not required.
Another question, if a subaward budget needs to be changed and the change is below 10% of total funding, does this change need to be approved by DOE? I do not believe that needs to, because it's less than 10%, I do not believe that needs to be changed, but I'll let Tara or Andrew expand on that if you would like.
Andrew, can you confirm, please?
Yeah, you're correct, Jeremy. If it's within that 10%, there's no need for approval.
Thank you.
But
Any
again,
other
please
questions?
just reach out to your CS, your TPO, TPOC, federal manager to keep them apprised of the situation. Just keep them informed.
Well, it doesn't look like we have any other questions. I would like to end the meeting. Oh, we got a new one. But before we get to that question, I would like to let everybody know, I'd like to thank all of our presenters for presenting today. I think all of this information is useful. I know some people have heard some of the information, but it never hurts to hear it again, just to make sure we're on top of all the reporting. And secondly, I'd like to thank all the PIs and all the participants for calling in. It's helpful to start the dialogue as soon as possible and to answer any questions that we might have early. Again, a lot of things haven't changed from last year to this year, but it's important to kind of go over a lot of these questions. So there's been a couple questions come in. Is there a chance to announce fiscal year 26 awards prior to fiscal year 27 FOA seminar? We can't speak to that question right now. That's outside of our hands and we can't speculate. So it's impossible for us to really answer that question. The next question is, or will there be a faux seminar of the announcement? As we get information going forward, we'll make the information available as quickly as possible. But until we get that, we just can't speculate when that will go out. But when we do have information, we'll let everybody know as much as possible. John, do you want to expand upon that at all? I know you know a little bit more about it than I do.
Yeah, I think it's public information that we present to nuclear engineering department heads and others that, our goal is to announce the 26 awards before the end of September. In other words, before the start of the new fiscal year. That's a goal. That's not a promise. So we're working feverishly to do all the panels and do all the approvals and everything else to get awards announced, not in place, but announced by the end of September for 26. And that may or may not be about the same time that we have a webinar for 27 awards, and NOFO's going out at that point. So there will be some overlap probably as we try to catch up. NOFO's coming out, but of course your proposals won't be due till probably, end of this year or early spring. So you'll have plenty of time to digest new awards and, decide what you want to do for the 2027 fiscal year.
Thank you, John. That's very helpful. Well, we have another question come in. It's can a sub award have a 7% fee in their budget? We're not going to get into answering questions about specifics on sub-awardees and fees and percentages. Those are questions for the CSs and COs as part of the application process and part of negotiations. And if the award is successful, certainly whoever's been assigned to that can go into that further. I'm reluctant to answer any specific questions like that because there's a lot of things that go into it, and no universal answer is going to be perfect. And this is not exactly the best place to answer that. But please reach out at another time, and we'd happy to go over it. But now is not a really great time to discuss that. And then the question is, will the recording today be available? Yes. The plan is to once this is over with, we'll upload the video of this. It'll be on the NEUP.gov website, I believe. Crystal, is that correct?
That is correct.
And then you'll be able to both download the video, and you should also be able to download the slides to look through it and to review. And the people that are listed here, and your CSs, your technical monitors, your TPOs, your contracting officers, they're all available also to answer specific questions that are pertinent to your award, and maybe more nitty-gritty questions about exact questions that might only apply to your awards. I'll open the floor one more time to see if there's any additional questions. Now is a perfect time to answer it. Maybe somebody else wants the question answered also. Looks like we don't have any. Again, I'd like to thank everybody that presented today. I'd like to thank everybody for their attendance. We want to work really hard to make sure that you have all the information you need to have successful projects. And please have more communication with us than less communication. We think it's vital to making sure that your projects are successful. Thank you so much, and going forward, the best of luck. We'll be here if you need anything. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
I have a quick question. Sorry about that.
Oh, yes.
No,
Yeah.
please go ahead.
Yeah, just kind of wanted to just go over this really quick because I took some notes. So I guess this is just pretty much like a rundown of, well, I guess reporting, logging, well, the finances, the spreadsheets. I'm just wondering if I'm missing anything. Just okay. Okay, yep. I guess I found my question right here. So when it comes to like handling certain information, I guess would it be best to like reach out directly via email in regards to like the type of work that like we're doing if it touches on like certain sensitive areas?
It shouldn't be a problem to reach out to us through email. That's usually the preferred method to answer questions. Certainly, if there's any specific security questions, I recommend that you contact reach out and by phone and ask the contracting officer if there's any concerns. Most of the projects that we deal with are not security concerns, and those can be issued. Those questions can be issued with emails, no problem. If there are export control issues or security issues that you're aware of, certainly give us a call and we'll try to navigate those through a phone call if necessary. But usually we rarely see an instance where an email won't suffice.
Okay. Well, what would be the best phone number to call? Would it just be one of these contacts, like Andrew, Tara, Crystal, or Dave?
Yes, I would, I would recommend that you start with Andrew Ford, the contracting officer. If you have a specific question about security concern about a question, and then he can let you know if that needs to be, if that could be sent by email. Again, it's rare that we have a question that can't be answered through email, but it's always best to be safe. And if you'd like to reach out, but the other people on this slide that's being shown right now could also direct you in the right direction if need be.
Okay, that was my question. Because that's kind of like that was my biggest question. That's where yeah. So thank you for answering it.
Thank you.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, George, one other recommendation is you might reach out to your university too. They should be able to help you with that, guide you too.
Thank you.
They should have an export control sensitive within your organization or university also too. So that's another option.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I don't see any other questions in the chat, and we're coming up on 90 minutes. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for their time. Have a wonderful day, and please reach out with any questions in the future. Thank you so much.